We're all going to hit that got it button and get it out of our way, and we can get started. And we now have Debbie. Debbie, shame on you. You are always on time.
I have a puppy.
That's a good excuse.
I know. That's why I was like, dang, that's a really good
those
excuse.
are called fur babies, Debbie.
Yeah.
Well, she's adorable, but when she gotta go, she gotta go. She don't care I have a Zoom.
Yeah, that's okay. We're glad that you guys are able to host this call. Thank you for responding to my text yesterday. Honestly, guys, I texted them yesterday at like 4 p.m. and I was like, hey, you guys want to host tomorrow? They said, of course we do. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
No, our pleasure. And, you know, before we get started, I just wanted to say something, and it goes to what Tom was talking about. So, you know, the business planning you're putting out right now, it serves a couple of purposes. Number one is it's good for you. You know, Deb and I and Tom and DJ have been doing a lot of research over the past couple of weeks, putting business planning together and changing it and tweaking it to what's the most valuable to be put out there right now in the environment that we're in, and of course, going forward into 2023. And, you know, one of the things that Deb and I discovered yesterday, we were doing some research and we got in touch with, what did we, Deb, it was the Small Business Association or something, right? We were looking for stats is what we were doing.
We always look for stats because data is how we share what we learn, and it's how you can share what you know with your buyers and sellers.
Yeah, so we were looking for data, and we came up on Small Business Association, and of course, because as real estate agents, you all are small business owners, right? So I think we discovered, or one of the stats that we came up with was those that have a written business plan and follow it, and meaning, you know, hold themselves accountable to it and look at it and track their numbers and so on and so forth, grow faster. And remember, Deb, what was it?
33%. Oh, you grow 33% faster.
There you go. Grow 33% faster. Huh. That's kind of cool. Good number. 33% faster than other businesses. So anyway, we were looking at that. So what I was trying to get at was the business planning is good for you guys. Number one, because we all need a business plan. We're doing our business plans right now. And number two, it's the ultimate attraction tool. Y'all are at EXP, and if y'all want to attract people, invite them to stuff, right? We've heard it before. So go to business planning and take some agents with you. That's it, right? And, you know, I've been watching EXPCon. I watched for the past couple of days, and all the big influencers on stage, they got like tons and tons and tons of people. They said they did it by providing value and inviting people to stuff. So there you go. So it serves two purposes. So Tom, I know you got a huge schedule and you're going all over the state of Florida, which I think is awesome. So there you go. Plenty of opportunity. And I'm sure you're going to get all of the stuff, all the dates and times and all the different things out there. So anyway, Deb, what were we talking about yesterday?
So we were talking about the ways agents can be prepared for 2023. We were actually talking about Business Planning Clinic and the value to agents in attending that. You know, as a leader of an office, I attended Business Planning Clinic every year that was really about the agent's business, but it was so exciting to me as a human to be able to serve my agents that I used to go every year so that I could be able to support the agents and help them create that. So we were talking about, you know, what's really important for agents right now. And we said, you know, gosh, getting a really solid plan for 2023. Now, we're not talking about a 27-page Excel spreadsheet. We're talking about a one-page plan that creates an action step. Why do we make a plan? What's the benefit of making a plan? Because a plan then determines the actions that we're going to take, right? So we create the plan, not to have a plan, but to go, okay, if this is what I want, what do I need to do to get there? So creating the plan creates the roadmap, or allows you to create the roadmap to hit it. And we kind of tossed around a lot of ideas and we said, you know what? Being prepared for 2023 is the best use of agents' time this time of year. And this is this time of year every year, September, October, not November, not December, not January 3rd, but really getting clear on what you want your next year to look like. And then creating that roadmap in advance before the holidays, before January, so that you're really clear on what you need to do. However, Curtis, you said, but what about right now? I mean, okay, great. We say, let's go to Business Planning Clinic. Let's get prepared for that. And we're going to talk about 4 or 5 things that you can do right now to prepare for a business planning clinic. Like, don't just sign up for one and waltz in. There's definitely things that you can do to get the most possible. Put it this way, if you do nothing, still go to Business Planning Clinic. We're going to talk about a handful of things today, though, that you could do to prepare for that. And then we're going to open up the floor to a mastermind that says, what about right now? What about right now? Curtis, what do the majority of agents do between the now and the end of the year?
Party?
Yes, that's true. Nothing. You will, if you're working and you have buyers or sellers, you will struggle to now get responses from agents on the other side of the deal. I don't think the winter, the holidays, if you look at the numbers, Curtis and I looked at the numbers as leaders of offices for years, the transactions don't drop this time of year, but agents stop working. Agents go into vacation mode starting now. And if you want to go put buyers under contract and sellers under contract, they're out there. There are people that want to move right now. And there are people, don't let people tell you, I want to wait for season in January. Don't let them. Pull out the data from last year or the year before, or the year before, or the year before, or the year before, and show them that people do buy and sell this time of year. And make them and help them get into action. Well, I don't want showings, around the holidays. Well, when would you? Okay, Thanksgiving week, great. Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, great. Let's exclude those, but let's make it, by the way, houses at Christmas time look beautiful. They show really well. They're festive. There's lights. People get excited. It's a great time to sell. So Curtis, why don't we talk about how agents can get prepared for a business planning clinic?
Yeah. So yeah, just real quick. And it was 4 easy things, right? So if you've got pen and paper, you want to write this down. If not, I guess somebody can get it emailed out or put in the chat or something like that later. So, because we were going through it with our coach and, we're doing business planning as well. And so he's like, stop, I don't want you to business plan yet. He goes, I want you to do a couple of things leading up to business planning so that it just makes it all make more sense. And you can determine then, what does my business need to look like going forward? And so the first thing, and you got to be really clear, you got to go get all of the things. The first thing is go figure out all of your liabilities, both personally and professionally, detailed out every little single thing. So it was, how much do I spend on food and gas and entertainment and get my nails done and my hair did and all the fun things, in addition to, of course, whatever all your expenses are already, your mortgage payment, your business expenses, all the things. But he said, go map and detail all of that out to the penny, all of it, don't leave anything out, nothing. So that was number one. And then he says, and by the way, let me just set this up for a minute. This doesn't take, this is not something to blow through. So this, what we're talking about right this very second, what I want you to do is when you get the opportunity to do strategic thinking, business planning, for yourself, hopefully you carve that out once a week, put your phone down, put all distractions down, all the things, and, get a pen and a paper, whatever you need, and go get this figured out. Spend the time. It might take an hour. It might take you 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know, but spend the time to really do this. You'll thank me later, and it'll make your business planning so much easier going forward. It'll make it way more clear. So that was number one. Anyway, get all your liabilities detailed out, to the penny. That was number one. Number two, This is where the thinking and the fun part kind of comes in. Map out what you want your 2023 to look like. What does this life that you envision for yourself for 2023 look like? Think about, I want to make this. I need to pay all these things, whatever. I want to go on 4 vacations, 3 vacations, 2 vacations. But here's the thing. Don't just write down, I'm on a vacation, 2 vacations. Where are you going? Who are you going with? When are you going? How much is it going to cost you? Like, really map it out. Think about it. What do I want this incredible life, this opportunity that I have in front of me? What do I want this next 12 months, starting in 2023 to look like? Life by design, people, right? Like, we have all the opportunity in the world with real estate. No ceiling on our income. There's no nothing. Map that thing out. What do I want this incredible 2023 to look like? And then number 3, and you may or may not have something, but is there an opportunity for you to have an impact on others? Is that in your world anywhere? Maybe, and maybe you do and maybe you don't, but think about it. Maybe it's something you've thought of in the past and you just set on the shelf and haven't gotten to yet or whatnot. But, is there an opportunity for you to have an impact on others? Is there, a charity you want to get involved in? Somebody you want to, do you want to start one? Do you want to give to one? Do you, and maybe it's not a charity. Maybe it's just simply, I want to pay off my mom's house. I don't know, but is there an opportunity for you in your world to have an impact on others? And maybe it's not monetary. Maybe it's just time spent, right? I don't know, but I want you to think, he says, and I want passing this on to you. I want you to think big, not, it always killed me in when we sat down with real estate agents and they say, well, you say, well, what do you want, to do next year? Well, with everything that's happening, let me be realistic. No, I don't want you to be realistic. I want you to map this thing out. Think big. And yes, of course, that's realistic because we see it all the time. All the people that do all these incredible things. They shared a story last Friday about somebody 4 years ago is broke and homeless and all these other things. And now they're on stage at EXPCon, right? Whatever. So think big, right? Think big. So it was get your current liabilities all down to the penny, your expenses, this, that, and the other. Number 2 was, envision, what do I want this incredible life to look like in 2023, right? Vacations, where am I going? And be clear. That I think is key. Being clear, don't just say, I'm on a vacation. No, think about it. Where are you going? When? How much is it going to cost you? Who are you going with? Awesome. And then number 3, of course, is there any opportunity for an impact on others, right? And maybe it's not something you've thought about. Maybe it's time to think about it. Whatever. You choose. And then number 4, Deb, what did we talk about?
So number 4 was, that's your personal life. That's designing. That's why we do what we do, right? That's designing a life that you'll love. And then number 4 was to shift into thinking about your business, really being clear about where your business came from in 2022. And I don't mean thinking, well, I think I got a lot of my business from referrals. Well, how many? Who were they? Like literally looking at every transaction that you closed. Now, if you want to do it for 12 months, you can go back 12 months. If you don't want to do it, or you can go back to the beginning of the year. Where specifically did you get each of those clients? And then I want you to have a really clear picture about where your business comes from. Because many times our brain lies to us and it says, well, I get everybody from my sphere of influence, or I get everything from social media, or I get everything. So I really want you, because that is really helpful when knowing that in advance, because we see agents walk into the room with a guess. They don't really know specifically 6 deals came from my sphere of influence. 4 deals came from social media. Although it was my sphere, it was related to a post that I made that someone responded to. And then 2 deals came from referrals, right? From my sphere, but from referrals. Knowing that specifically before you go into business planning clinic will allow your plan to be much more targeted, because you'll have a clear picture about where your business came from, because you have to know where you are in order to figure out where you're going, right? If you don't know specifically, and if you're guessing Guessing is better than, don't not go to business planning clinic because you haven't figured that out. Go and guess, because it still will be valuable. You can always backtrack afterwards, but it's so much more clear when you're sitting there in the clinic, knowing exactly where you got your business from this year. And then we added a number 5, which is an awareness question that most of us don't really think about. And most of us don't really know. And listen, everything we talk about on here on this, there is no judgment around it. By the way, I don't know the answer to this question for myself. Now, I am going to try to figure it out before I plan for 2023. How many people did you add to your database this year, right? That is such a critical question to bring awareness to both your actions and your process. If full transparency, I really suck at a CRM. Suck at it. Do I want to get better? Yes. Do I know if I get better, I will have more consistent business? Yes. Do I want to make a commitment to being really good at my CRM in 2023? Yes. But in order to do that, I need some awareness about how many people were in my database at the beginning of the year and how many did I add? Because just like your business, my business is 100% dependent on the number of relationships I build and the number of people I add to my database. So it's not a judgment thing, it's an awareness thing, because if we can get good at that and be purposeful, the results will come. So it was 5 things. Figure out your bills, map out what you want 2023 to look at. Is there any other impact? By the way, it might be volunteering for, or it might be spending more time with my family or my loved ones, right? That will significantly impact my 2023. Where is your business right now? Meaning, where did you get your business from? And how many people did you add to your database? And if you don't really know, make a commitment to mark your number of people in your contacts on January 1, so that at the end of next year, you can have some more clear awareness about how much your database grew.
Yeah, awesome. And this was all, and you know, we thought about this and we thought, well, what will we share? This was all just to simply help you and set you up for success walking into business planning. It'll make it way more fun. Because I don't know about you, but I've struggled in the past. Like when you go to business planning workshop and you're like, oh my God, and right, and you halfway write up a plan, you walk out, you throw it in a drawer and you never look at it again. And then boom, January 1st is here, right? Whatever, no judgment, but this is, again, in an effort to set you up for success going forward and make business planning a whole lot more fun. And, you know, you might even, what you think you need to write down may not be the case, right? Like whatever you were thinking walking into business planning clinic today may be different after you go through this and really figure it out. So anyway, anybody have any questions on any of that before we start talking or doing a mastermind?
Hey, Curtis, Debbie.
Yes, sir.
I put into the chat box a blank real estate pipeline Excel. It's formatted amazingly. I didn't create it, just so you guys know, right, Curtis? I'm not that good.
I've seen your work.
Debbie, Curtis, that real estate pipeline, I'm not sure where I stole it from, but it's there. It's great. And a matter of fact, like Debbie was saying, it'll give you an opportunity month over month or even year over year to see, was it referral, was it database, where that lead come from. But pipelines is extremely important. I have a pipeline myself for agents.
Awesome. Oh, good. Thank you, Claire. Claire put all the things
Thanks, Claire.
in
You're
the
my
chat.
favorite.
You're awesome.
She is awesome.
Nice shirt. Maybe we'll get deep one of these days. Sorry, Dave. Deep said he never got one. Hey, we're gonna get him one. We'll do it. We'll do it. All right. So listen. So if nobody has any questions, you know, and of course, if you did, you can always reach out to any of us, DJ, myself, Debbie, Tom. You know, always willing to help, talk to someone. all got our emails and contact information. Anyway, and thanks, Tom, for putting that in the shirts. We're not playing today. No, but they're awesome. I don't know what I was going to say. Lost my train of thought.
So yesterday, on yesterday's call, I actually put up our the 4 beautiful slides that Curtis made and said, here it is. But guys, here's the thing. It's got to be instilled. It's got to be repetitive. It's got to be consistent. Consistency and persistence equals success. I want to read something to you that came across this morning, which I thought was pretty awesome, that sometimes we think about, but we don't do. And I'm sure this will resonate with you guys. You ready? Here's what it says. It's real small. The results you seek are hiding in the activities you avoid. And the results you seek are hiding in the activities you avoid. So with that being said, stop avoiding the opportunity to further yourself. Make the biggest investment you can in yourself, because it'll pay off. Invest in yourself. So I did mention grit yesterday, and did share the slides for that you shared with me. So
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Ahas, insights, or questions?
come on, guys, this is your time. Take advantage of the opportunity.
So coaches, one of the things that I find interesting when we're talking specifically, and I absolutely love these questions because they allow us to think and dig deeper. When you were speaking about where your business came from, I like to dig a little bit deeper as well, as if it was sphere of influence. Well, okay, it was sphere of influence, but how did that turn into a closing? Was it from my phone calls? Was it from my client appreciation? That allows me to take those business dollars and put it where I received the most return on investment. Does that make sense? Am I thinking the right way?
100%. So, funny, quick story. Last year, Deb and I were out doing business planning, and lo and behold, everybody's going through the exercise of where did my business come from last year? And every single agent, 50% of their business or more came from their sphere, or they'd say database, right? Oftentimes we kind of tie the two together. Hands down, they all said that 50% or more came from my database sphere. And then we posed the question, well, let me ask you, what did you do in order to obtain that business? And what we meant by that was it outbound phone calls? Did you host an event? Did you do this? Did you do that? Unfortunately, most of them did nothing. These people just magically called them because they love them and they did a great job for them over the past couple of years or whatever when they sold them a house. They did a great job. But I think the aha came down to, I didn't do nothing to get this deal. Like, I didn't do anything other than it's something I did 2-3 years ago. Well, do you think that if you actually put some effort into your database, doing some phone calls, check-ins, have them on a great, incredible drip campaign of some kind that provides value, maybe you post an event, whatever, how many referrals or deals do you think you might have gotten, right? So anyway, it's always just, I think it's important. So I love where your head's at, Claire. That's always the big question. And I think most of you guys, probably there's 70 some odd people. I guarantee if you all go sit down, I know that one of the things, and it's probably going to be the most, is your sphere database where you got your business over the last couple. It is, hands down, it always wins. And then we got a whole bunch of random places. But I think it tells us, and in Grit, we showed a slide, and it's not a secret, came from National Association of Real Estate Agents, or excuse me, National Association of Realtors, does their survey every single year. Hasn't changed for I don't know how many years. It says, I think it says, I don't know, it's talking about buyers or sellers, but nonetheless, it says 80% of the people are like ecstatic with you when you sell them a house or you listed and sold their house. and yet only 12% of them use the same realtor that they used the first time. Shame on us. It just tells us that we are awful with our database and we can do better. So anyway, sorry, I digress.
Yeah,
Can I
that's
share?
that's true. I was licensed in New Jersey, but inactive when I sold my house. And the woman that sold my house to me was great. She was persistent. She kept saying, you got to look at this house. You got to look at this house. You got to look at this house. And I'm like, it's not in my price range. I'm not looking at the house. She's like, you got to look at this house. You got to look at this house. We looked at every house on the market that was in my price range. I didn't like any of them. And I refused to go look at that house. Well, guess which house I bought? That one. But she was persistent. I figured out how to get the money in order to be able to afford it. 7 or 8 years later, we're going to sell our house. We're moving to Florida. And I said, what was that real estate agent's name, honey? I said, was it Pat? Was it Trisha? Was it what was her name? Couldn't remember. Now this is 04. So Google wasn't the way it was. Social media wasn't the way it was. It really, we looked through paperwork. We couldn't find her name on any of the documents. I spent about a week looking for, I knew what company she worked for. I went to their website. I looked at the pictures of I worked hard to give her money, spent about a week looking for her name, couldn't find it. If she was still at that same brokerage, her picture changed so much that I didn't recognize the picture. So we hired someone else, 2004. Do you know what I got in the mail yesterday? By the way, I've moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times since I've moved to Florida. You know what I got in the mail? I went and showed my husband. Do you know what I got in the mail yesterday? Postcard from the realtor that sold my house. 2004. Haven't spoken to him. His name's Scott Rygard. He owns a Remax. But yes, I've called him. He owns a Remax, but this guy pays the post office to tell him when I move, because no matter where I've lived, the postcards keep coming. He spent about $60 in postcards so far in 16 years. I actually tried to send him a referral. I saw a friend of mine in the same town moving her home. I referred him. She had already found an agent. I tried to refer him, but his name's Scott Rygard. And all he did was send me a postcard, 12 a year. He puts me on a drip, right? And it's 10 things you can do with duct tape. You know, I get one every year, plus all the holidays, right? But Scott Rygard, so it's proof. I tried for a week to give that 400,000, that's 12 grand. I tried really hard to give her 12 grand and I couldn't find her. If she had just sent me postcards, like do it badly. Get everybody on a postcard drip. Somebody will remember you and call you, even if you don't call them. Sorry, but that's so important, right?
Can I just add something before you?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Is that when you look through your database and you are looking at where you got your business, just remember this, start to define your avatar, because once you start looking through those people and you look at who sold, who bought, who sold last year, then you're going to come up with the commonalities. And once you do that, then you can actually start defining your personal, your private, your best client. And once you know that, once you know the who, then you know everything else. Everything else falls into place. Where do you advertise? Where do you spend your money, marketing money? What do you send them? You know, where do they live? Go through the who's, the what's, the where's, the hows, and everything, but you cannot do any of that until you know the who. So that's the huge time-saving thing in the future once you know that.
Yeah, you're saying identify your people. That's your people.
Know your peeps.
This one, this wasn't supposed to be about database. Look what you started, Claire. Claire's an instigator. Like seriously, an instigator. She get coaches on it. She's a coach herself. She gets coaches on here. She brings up database because she knows it's like a sore spot. And like everybody's like running after. No, like seriously, like it's like this sore spot. It's like a pimple on, I'm not even gonna say it, but And it's a pimple to every real estate agent in the entire world, like every single one of them, like whatever. So let's squeeze it going forward and get rid of it. I don't know.
It's kind of like that quote that popped up. The results you seek are hiding in the activities you on your database. Working your
I
database.
know. I know. Well, you know what? So that's a good, so I started reading, Debbie and I were talking about a book we got, because I said, well, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? And so we had our Zoom with DJ, we were doing the business planning, and then we regrouped for a second. And I came across this book I started reading, and I'm not going to tell you all the thing, but it was really good. And it's talking about selling in a crisis. And so anyway, it says winter is coming, right? That's how it starts, which we all knew that. We talked about the shift coming and so on and so forth. And then it goes through some things that you can do. And so I just want to tell you real quick. So the first one was rise and survive. And I think we all said that. That was make the decision, mindset. We talked about it last week, all the kind of fun stuff. And then the second part of it is started talking about it, said, put your swimsuit on. And I started cracking up. I was like, what? And so I had to read the chapter. And Warren Buffett once said, and I trust you guys will all get that. Warren Buffett once said, he said, when the tide goes out, we get to see who's been swimming naked. Now, what do you think that means? Anyone?
Their business.
Okay. How so?
I think because when the times get tough, we find out who really is doing the work to survive and get through it, right? The ones who are coming out naked are the ones who are now struggling because they didn't do the activities and the work they said they really were doing. They were riding something that wasn't normal, right? It's kind of like the market up and down. They were riding the wave, right? So that's my thought on it.
You got it. No, you're 100%. That's exactly what that chapter talked about. That, we identify who's gotten away from the fundamentals of the business and the things that we should have been doing consistently because we were riding the wave, right? So anyway, I just thought it was funny. I'll say it one more time. So Warren Buffett said, when the tide goes out, we get to see who was swimming naked. Thought it was funny. That old geezer's funny. I guess he's got a good one. Not only rich, but he's funny. So anyway, and then it got into the be right now. And this is what Deb and I talked about. And this is where the mastermind part of this was. It was the be right now. It was about thinking about what can I do right now to have a biggest impact in right now. Yeah, right. Debbie's pointing. Like right this very second, in different aspects of my life, my business, and so on and so forth, to change the momentum, because we know that if we get into action, right, that the results will then start to show up, that we create momentum, things like that. So Deb, we had some questions. And again, this is an open mastermind. So we're going to ask the question, but then this is open to everybody so that hopefully we can come up with some incredible ideas that then we can go take action on or implement.
Well,
in our business.
that first question is, what action can you take right now that will contribute to your success to the end of the year, right? So we are business planning. We're not holding our breath and waiting till January 1st for 2023. We still have almost a quarter of business that we can still do this year. So what action can you take right now? We're talking about, like, this is Friday, that you could either take this afternoon or Monday morning. So let's throw out some ideas and open the floor. What action can you take right now that will impact the rest of 2022?
Call your database.
Call your database.
Just start calling, make calls, guys. Reach out to your people, make sure they're okay.
Yeah, we have a social media guy that starts doing holiday things online on his LinkedIn. He starts, even though Halloween's the first one, he starts reaching out saying, hey, I have a lot of people that I want to wish a happy holiday to. So I'm starting early before Halloween so that I can reach everybody. Love that, Liz. What else? What else can we do right now?
So there's a lot of pumpkin patches out there. You can buy the mini pumpkins for like 25 or 30 cents a piece. And if you got like 100 of them and put your business card on it with maybe some little paint kits, and just put them on each person's doorstep in your neighborhood. The kids love to paint those little mini pumpkins. I've helped a couple agents last year with that mindset of that. I've been telling them this for several years now. I learned that from Debbie Tufts, who's amazing, but she does those mini pumpkins with her business card on it with like a little paint kit for the kids to paint faces on them. And she's actually attracted a lot of business opportunities. So for a minimal amount, it's something to think about that could be done right away.
Awesome. What else?
I'll tell you
Good
what.
morning.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, I started contacting all the buyers who kind of hid after the rates started increasing in May. Just, to give them some time to relax and see that if they're ready now to get back on and try to get something closed by the end of the year.
One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to start mapping out my social media posts in advance and do those for at least a month out. And what I'd ask you is that, like I asked myself this yesterday, is like, how many times have I bought something that really I didn't want, but it had been in front of me so many times that I actually ended up buying it, right? I see those stupid commercials for what are they, vitamin, they're supplements that have vegetables and fruit in it. And I told my husband the other day, I'm like, people think that if they buy those, they can eat McDonald's and it'll be fine and their body will be fine. And he's like, yeah, why are you yelling at me? And I'm like, because I really think I'm going to buy some. And it's those stupid things, but they are always in my face, right? And so what I realized is that I am not always in the face of the people that I want to do business with. So I've got to be more consistent, and I hate social media. So what can I do is I can map it out so that all I have to do every day is post it.
Love it.
Yeah.
May I add something? So in our holiday cards, typically I do it in Thanksgiving time. And inside of our cards, we put a little snippet. And in that little snippet, it's a piece of paper that says, what is your favorite charity that you like to give to? And then below that, there are charities in the area that help families during the holidays. And have them, it's like a call to action. As a gift to them, we would like to donate in their name. So it allows them to feel that they're contributing. It allows us to have a warm call communication. And also we get to know our people better and what helps them feel philanthropic. So that's one thing that we do.
And that is awesome. That it is a definite call to action. They're going to reply to that. Most people, right? Wow. Love that.
Because otherwise you feel like a Scrooge if you don't say, I don't want to help any of them. If I don't call Claire and tell her which one I like, she's going to think that I don't really know, right? It is this social, like pressure that says in a good way, right? That really inspires that conversation.
Claire, I'm
Shaming them.
stealing that.
Go ahead, Jessica.
I said I'm stealing that.
That is awesome.
So the next question, and we kind of talked about that a little bit with the Call Your Database, which Liz shared, but what action can you take right now that will build your pipeline? And we got it was a little bit of a broader question before, but let's get more specific. One is to, sending the cards out is a good relationship building and nurturing thing, and you will get business from it. And I do believe the way Claire does it, it is building your pipeline because you'll have those conversations. What else could we do right now to build our pipeline for the end of the year?
I have something that accidentally happened to us. we're looking for assisted living places for my mother-in-law. And I was talking to a bunch of, directors and touring them all. And several of them want to partner with us because they have people coming that need to sell their parents' home. And I said, when we have clients who are selling their parents' home, so that we're exchanging business cards so we can help each other.
Love that, Heather. New lead source. Love that. What else?
Can it be as easy as pick up the phone right now and just say hello to your people?
It can be that easy. That's actually, not only is it easy, it's the recommended method for forever. Just call them up and say hi. Hey, haven't spoken to you in a while. How's it going? They know you're a realtor. Be friends with people and care about them. That's right. Just be friends with them and care about them and check in with them periodically. Awesome. What else? What can we do right now to build our pipeline? Okay, let me ask this other question. How many of you do a pie event every year? Raise your hand. Like past clients where you offer them a pie. I'm looking for hands up. I don't see it. Then I'm not going to share my tip. I have a tip, but I'm not going to share it because I don't see any hands. But message me privately if you want to find out how to build your pipeline if you do a pie event.
I do.
Okay, I will share it for Natasha. I will share it just for you. And but put it this way, we didn't invent any of this stuff. This is all stuff that we heard from other people. So I was in a big event and I heard this agent on stage. She sent out her reminders about her pie event, and it was to all the past customers. So not just this year, but maybe the last 2 or 3 years of customers, or maybe all your past customers. You say, hey, we have a pie event. If you tell me pumpkin or apple, we're going to be at this location for these 2 days from this time to this time. You can come pick it up before Thanksgiving, like that early Thanksgiving week. And if you share a referral of who you think might want to buy or sell real estate, we'll include a free can of whipped cream. Now that sounds stupid. Her referral rate jumped astronomically because she offered a free can of whipped cream. So now all of her clients are sharing referrals to get a $2 can of whipped cream because it's free. So great tip. Whipped cream, because now people are saying, oh my gosh, well, here's a name. I want the free can of whipped cream. You do know it's only $250, $2.50. You can go to the store and buy it yourself. But her referrals exploded because she offered the free can of whipped cream if they gave her a name. And then people that didn't do it in advance, when they came to pick up a pie, whoever was giving out the pie says, hey, by any chance, did you run across a referral? Because we can give you that free can of whipped cream. Crazy. And now you don't have to work to get those leads, right? They're bringing them to you.
Can I just jump on there?
Yeah.
Now, you got to know your clients, right? So that's where it comes back to building your avatar. I get stuck on this thing. So if your people don't eat pies, then that's not a very good thing. But if they drink wine, if you know your clients, if they drink wine, if they are if they're beer people, if they like fruitcakes, God forbid, but whatever, if they like anything, you should know that. You should know what they like before you. I had a agent in one of my offices that she did a Christmas open house every year, and she would have 200 or 300 people there, and she had a gift for everybody that came, and she told them, the more referrals I get, the bigger your gift. And so every year referrals came in because the big gifts were awesome gifts. So she knew her clients and she knew what to do. So don't just go out there and randomly decide you're going to do XYZ when you don't know if your clients are even care. So my 2 cents.
Love it. Let's move on to the next one, which is what can you do right now to close more business? Right now, close more business.
Clarify that, Debbie.
Well, I'm sure everyone wants to close more business by the end of the year. So many of you are working with buyers that aren't under contract. Many of you have potential sellers that aren't listed, and many of you have sellers that are listed. So what could you do right now to move those people to taking action?
I can truly say for the buyers that we have in our pipeline on our team, we have actually been reaching out to some of our other cooperating agents within EXP and outside of EXP and asking them what did they have in the pipeline that we can help them move so that we could possibly be a matchmaker, because that's our purpose is, being a matchmaker and getting our people to their goals.
Yeah, I love that, right? Being more proactive. And by the way, most agents are slowing down their business so they have time to talk on the phone.
Maybe call a bunch of agents and say, hey, most agents take all this time off between now and the end of the year. Do you plan on it? And I'll pay you a referral for all the buyers and sellers they have. Right? Honestly, so many of them just don't work.
I'd pay a 50% referral to an agent that would refer me. Like, I'd be happy to, right? Like, seriously, someone who doesn't want to take their buyers out or work with their sellers, seriously.
It's happening right now. I guarantee if you put something out there to all your fellow agents in your community and say, listen, I know you're, I'm not sure if you want to do this or not, but if you have any buyers that you're not willing to work with because of the busy time of holiday and everything, let me know and I'd be more than happy to pay you a good referral, like Debbie said. I'm telling you, it happens. I know several of our agents now that say, I'm looking for agents that can just take these referrals from me. And they're in the same market.
I do it every winter because I live too far to be driving to Chicago. I do it every winter.
They look at that already. Natasha, might be a good opportunity to go on your social media and tag all your fellow realtor friends and say, I have a ton of referrals coming up in this area. Would you be interested? I need to talk to you first, right?
Yep.
And might
Another
that be a
idea.
good way to build relationships with agents that might not be happy at their brokerage?
That's exactly right. 100%.
You know what? Also reach out to lenders, because there are some, I was just talking to a lender this week that he has stats beyond stats, and he can tell a potential buyer that's a renter now exactly why they should buy now. And, it's like, what's that saying? Don't let a good disaster go to waste. So, yes, we have high interest rates, but you know what? Statistically, according to him, that recessions only last 2 to 3 years. So it's going to go up. They're going to grab a house now. They're going to grab it for $400,000. They're going to have a 7% interest rate, but in 2 or 3 years, they're going to be able to refinance, and the houses are not in play. The cost of the houses does not go down during a recession. So the houses are going to be worth more, and they can do their refi there. And now they have a doable house payment. All they have to do is suck it up for a couple of years. So talk to a lender who really knows what they're doing, and you're going to get some business by the end of the year.
I've seen some great posts from lenders talking about fancy schmancy lending stuff that can help agents, right? I'm thinking about the 2-1 buy down, Curtis, that right. And they really can be a leverage piece for you. If you don't, if you have a relationship with a lender, call them up and say, do you have any tips or tricks or products that would be really great for me to be able to explain really well to my clients right now, so that I can communicate better to my buyers and sellers. Because I can't explain the 2-1 buy down. But I've seen the lenders explain it online. So let's move on to Curtis. Which of these other questions do you like? Because we have about a dozen of them.
I'm looking. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna go.
So what about, what can you do right now to adjust the way you sell? What can you do right now to adjust the way you sell that would cause better results?
So Debbie, on my last few listing consultations, I was speaking with the sellers specifically on what is working in our market, which is allowing the sellers the opportunity to buy down the buyer's rate and having true, honest, economical conversations, which we share on these calls, which most agents don't get every day. And being able to allow them to make the decision and adjust the price point properly so that they can offer that.
I love that. Because right now, the listings that are sitting there, it just needs to be, we got to think outside the box versus just price reductions. It's because sometimes the price reduction isn't exactly what is needed because the home is priced right. It may be a creative opportunity, even a seller that may be wanting to hold a note. I mean, if your seller owns the house outright, ask them, hey, would you be interested in holding a note at the 6.9% interest rate that's out there right now? Because if you cash in, you have nothing coming in on your money, and do it as a 5-year balloon. Guys, even if it's 100% and they pay all the closing cost side of it, that's a win-win. See, if you have a buyer, contact the seller to try to find out who has homes paid off. Contact your sellers and go, hey, I know you have this, you own this outright. If you had an opportunity to earn interest for the next 5 years at a high rate that you can't find anywhere right now, would you be interested in seeing what that looks like? See, we have to educate them because they don't know. They think holding a note is dangerous. Holding a note isn't dangerous. It's given them the opportunity to earn interest-free, right? Without paying a huge mass capital gain because there's no funds coming in all in at once too. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So think about that if you have listings and they own it outright.
Yeah, Evelyn just posted in the chat, offer assumable loans. We've kind of gotten away from that with our big, everybody just buying and going crazy, but especially with interest rates where they are, it's possible that your seller has an interest rate that's lower.
Yeah.
So you could potentially, she said she just did that right now on a listing that they're offering to assume the loan.
Love it. But we wouldn't know if it's assumable if we didn't ask.
Right. The seller's rate is 2.9%. Do you think if you put that in your listing agreement or your listing realtor notes, do you think agents would get all like, ooh, my buyer doesn't want to spend, spending 2.9% on 50% or more of the purchase price saves them some money, right? Or it's a psychological benefit. Love that. Any other tip on adjusting how you sell right now? I didn't hear anybody say, practice my scripts.
Skill set.
Because I promise you, 1 week of practicing your scripts, you're going to be better next week. And 2 weeks means you'll be even better in 3 weeks. And 3 weeks means you'll be better in 4 weeks. That is the fastest way to improve your skill.
So Deb, real quick, just on that, remember we were talking about that book and reading and whatever. And I just said the Warren Buffett quote a few moments ago or whatever. It later goes on in that very chapter and it makes a statement and it says this, because, that all talked about getting back to the fundamentals. Well, the fundamentals also being developing your skill, right? And so this is what it says. Mediocrity and the failure to respect the fundamentals is magnified in a financial crisis.
And here's the other thing is go take some training. You only know what you know. And if you don't get out there and learn what other people know, you're never going to change the way you sell. You're just guessing. So go out and get some training. Go to Grit. Go to the business planning clinic. Go check online, see what else is there. They don't have to be EXP for you to learn something. Go get some training.
I love that. Thank you all. I think all of us have to run. We have other appointments, but you guys are amazing and we believe in all of you, and you're always so lucky to be in an environment, this growth-minded environment. And I commend you. Here's the other thing, show up. And all of you are doing that already. Showing up, if you get one nugget or a half a nugget or a nugget every other time, and it changes your business, you are really demonstrating your commitment to your success by showing up here. So this is a round of applause I'm giving all to you, because so often we don't acknowledge what we are doing to build our business, and showing up. 90% of success is showing up. So you all deserve a round of applause. So love you all. I will see you next week.
Thank you.
See ya.
Appreciate you.
It's all yours, Tiff.
Thank you. I'm gonna